Hi,
welcome back. With us in the studio is Henry and Reene. During the break, Reene made a very good point because Henry said that, it's interesting because both of them started their business in a crisis and they agree that it's a good thing. Please enlighten us.
So I was saying that...
Wouldn't it be harder to...
It's actually, to me, I think it's a good time, to start a business. Because if you're able to survive through the harder times, it puts you in a good lead. And you will practice cost, you're very effective in managing costs and all that. You know your P&L very well, you know your line items and all that. I think it kind of sharpens you up in your managerial skills and all that. Yeah. So I have a strong belief that, I started my company at the right time.
So is that an advice
during the SARS period
to entrepreneurs to the time is now?
Yeah, I think a lot of people will assume that during a crisis the demand will be low. You have less customers, things like that. I mean,
wouldn't it be harder to start out because then it gets a bit more demoralizing?
I think Henry.
Yeah, Henry 3 months into
agree with me, right?
Yeah, I totally agree. Actually, when the thing is when you start a business in a crisis, you also have to think about what your customers will be thinking about, right? So they will be more prudent in spending. So which is why when we set our prices, right, we make sure that it definitely will be very competitive and affordable to the consumers, and we are willing to take a lower margins because we know that obviously we will have to tide through this period, but once we tide through this period, everybody is willing to spend more, our business will definitely pick up.
But I guess when it comes to wedding, if they're going to get married, they're going to get married.
Yeah. They'll still spend on it anyway.
Yeah, but they probably spend less. Instead of getting I don't know, a $5 item, they would want a $2 item.
Yeah, true.
And totally arbitrary numbers there.
I think in times of crisis, you look at then it forces you to focus on your business model. Does it really work? Do you have to be in good times to thrive, or to survive?
Yep.
Then there's, maybe there's a problem. You're not understanding, which is the niche market that you are handling, or where are you positioning yourself?
Instead of people who times are good and it's okay, I have a great idea, I'm going to sell bak chor mee, but your bak chor mee sucks, and then sorry, I usually use the bak chor mee example because Amanda is hungry.
All right, okay. After watching the donuts.
Yeah, after watching the donuts. Okay, we've heard Reene and Henry talk about how they are sort of coping. Amanda actually went to, where is this? Toa Payoh?
Yeah.
And what do you do
I went
at
to
Toa
talk
Payoh?
to all the shop owners. No, I didn't. I went to speak to some of the shop owners there to find out, how they're coping with the recession and whether or not the budget is helpful for them. So maybe let's take a look.
你们的生意有没有受到影响？
没有。对。
客人跟以前一样吗？
都可能新年会有一点影响到啦。可是现在我还刚开工第一天，还不知道会不会影响，会比较近一点。
没有什么影响啦，就是新年期间没有受什么影响，平常不知道啦。
不会，反而是我们的营业方面的话，反而增长5%的，增长5%哦。过年过后的话，还不清楚啊。
相当大程度的影响。
那你们怎么应付呢？
我也不知道，走一步看一步了。
A very little bit only lah. Unlike before, it really a lot of customers coming in. Now it's a bit lesser now.
So how you're coping?
We're trying hard. We're trying our best lah to put up on sales.
生意肯定受到影响。为什么？因为每个人有买，但是它的数量不是以往的那么多。有一些人买衣不买裤，有些买裤不买衣。那以往不同，以往他们可以买2件衣2件裤，或者几件衣几件裤。
那你觉得政府最近宣布的那个财政预算啊，有些是帮助做生意的嘛？你觉得对你来说有帮助吗？
我觉得政府的预算不是很理想，而且不很周全。 假如可以的话，应该把消费税稍微降2%到3%，这个才是确实的。政府认为它很有道理，但是我们认为说，你暂时的稍微减一减，对整个政府的这个经济不会有太大的影响。
So do you agree with what the lady said?
Yeah.
You know, they should reduce GST to help, like, even businesses and normal Singaporeans.
Well, I mean, for me personally, I would definitely appreciate if the GST is being reduced.
Both as a business owner and a consumer, right?
Yeah, obviously. Obviously. I mean, well, I guess that's where the government get their money from, right? And that is why they are actually able to give such a generous budget this time. So I wouldn't dare to comment too much about it.
But if it's reduced, would it have a really significant impact?
Like how much?
Yeah.
It means just 2%, right?
Yeah.
Well, not just lah, but you know.
I still appreciate the job credits scheme, you know. Yeah, because I think that, you know, when you know, if you're able to preserve jobs and all that, you know, the confidence level will go up. I think it's a time where people are very cautious. Yeah, so. Yeah, so I think that, you know, just having the basic, you know, having a job and all that will, you know, keep the family going. You know.
Like, I think a few of the people that Amanda spoke to talk about how business has sort of slowed down, and from the last lady talk about 人家买2个裤2个衣现在买1个裤 How has the slowdown affected business for you guys?
Okay, for us, today I received an email from a client out of the UK. Apparently, you know, so my client is saying that, you know, in UK the situation is much worse than the US. You know, there's something like, you know, although the US started it, you know, so so you know, there are many kind of job losses there. Yeah, and it's kind of very gloomy and all that, you know. So I mean, I think that in times like that, you know, it's you know, for us, because we have long-term relationships with clients, like, you know, we've like been, you know, in this relationship for like 4 years. Yeah, so it's I think it's important, like, to be able to demonstrate that we go through like thick and thin, you know,
but obviously they would have sort of slashed their budgets, right? Will you be able to give us sort of like a range? They cut their budgets by what, 10, 20%, or maybe even more?
I think that, you know, certain, you know, probably like in terms of, you know, in their advertising campaign worldwide, yeah, there would be certain cuts in place and all that. Yeah, so that's definitely one of the first areas, yeah, to be looked upon. Yeah, they, you know, I think, you know, in times like that, we as an agency, we need to, you know, demonstrate that we can handle multiple markets. Yeah, so it's important to offer that. Yeah, so that's those are important areas to focus on. Yeah.
Okay, but let's say if there was like a budget wish list, then I mean, what kind of sort of help would you want to see? I mean, the government provide for like SMEs and entrepreneurs like you guys? What would be really, really helpful?
Right, if you ask me, because I know that my friend who is in the internet media startup company, right? They actually can tap into a seed funding of I think $50,000. Right, that is for, I think it's a media companies, right? I think if the entrepreneurs, right, they can actually tap into a similar kind of fund. Right, I think you probably give them a lot of courage to start a business, right? Yeah. Right, because like I know my friend, he actually got a $50,000 the grant, and obviously if you have $50,000, you can do a lot of things. Like you could probably plan your business in a way that you can scale and leverage on more people and more resources, right? But for people who are just purely using their own money, you have to think a lot. You have to think twice before you spend, and before you think how you leverage your operations. So yeah, obviously, I think if it's a wish list for me, I would like seed funding for entrepreneurs. Well, it doesn't have to be the same amount, 50,000, but I think 10,000 or 5 to 10,000 would be good enough.
But actually, the budget does have industry-specific helps, but I guess not for wedding favors, lah.
From what I know, it's all loans. So you have to qualify for the loans. It's not a grant.
Okay.
Yeah, from what I know.
So what is your wish list, Reene?
Oh yeah, I would wish for more maybe initiatives in the area of skills development. Yeah, I think in all types of capacity. I think like in the downtime, it's a very good time to upgrade your capabilities. Yeah, if we can upgrade the talent base, it would help us even in gaining new business from abroad and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, so this I feel is an important area. So I would probably look into the budgets again and see where.
I think there is Spurs. There's a Spur. Yeah, there's Spur, but it's sort of, I don't know, the target group of workers.
That's like you apply through your company, right?
Yeah.
And then if your company approves it, then the government will fund.
So maybe
like
you can try
80%.
checking that out to see if there's anything for your workers. But back to how business has been affected. Henry, has it affected you in the last 3 months? Could you tell within the 3 months?
Well, for myself, I mean, obviously 3 months is a short time, but I would say that increasingly many more people are asking us for discounts, right? Which obviously
don't they ask for discounts usually anyway?
Now they want deeper discounts.
Because when we set our prices, we actually make it very, very competitive already. So when people ask us, initially when we first started, there are not that many people who ask for discounts, but right now there are more. And as much as we would like to help them, we can't really give them that much because we are already cutting into our margins by setting very low prices. Right. So that in that extent, people were a bit affected by it.
Okay. So about how much are they, I don't know, asking for? I mean, in terms of setting aside a budget for wedding favors, I don't know, typically what is the range and like how much has it gone down by?
Well, you mean in terms of how much are people willing to spend?
Yeah, on wedding favors.
I think a typical expenditure would be about $400.
Oh, that's quite cheap.
Yeah, that's because prices on our website, we are actually making it very competitive.
Stop plugging your...
Yeah.
I was thinking, because if like, I was just imagining like banquet, 20 tables, 1 table.
Now 10 tables enough.
Now 10 tables enough.
Cut costs.
Okay, maybe for you guys it's a bit different. I mean, the mom and pop shop type, they're looking for sort of more direct help because obviously, let's say the seamstress lady, for example, the jobs credit scheme would probably not
like
benefit her at all. I mean, even though you guys are not have a similar business model. Sorry. How do you think these people could be better targeted? Help could be better targeted at this group of people, because it's sort of, a lot of people are saying like, big companies are going to benefit, especially for the jobs credit scheme, because they have so many people and they're going to potentially get a lot of money from that scheme. But otherwise, somebody who, let's say like Amanda, who runs a bak chor mee next year or something, any ideas how it will be better for them?
I can't really think of what.
Because for you also, you're not benefiting from the jobs credit scheme, which is a big chunk of the budget.
So it's a very generous thing. What I think for the mom and pop shops, right? I think the main thing for them would be to actually raise the awareness first. I think perhaps some of them are not even aware of how the extent of the budget could actually help them. So I think in that area, if I could suggest, would be to think of ways to make sure that the mom and pop shops are actually aware of it.
I think
to sort of like try to get to all the different avenues, explore all the different components. Sorry, Reene?
I think that for them, one of the important costs that they have to manage is rental costs. So like I think just now we mentioned this your 40% tax rebate on commercial property. So that is good because although the landlords, they are not obliged to pass on this cost, but we hope that they can consider passing on these savings to the tenants, so that it will help the tenants will lengthen the lifespan of a business. It could be really critical for survival. Okay. So I think for them it's not not the jobs credit, but it's the this rental You know, and not forgetting that, you know, when there is a lowering of rental costs, it would mean that, like, let's say for us, you know, our suppliers, you know, are able to get, able to manage their operating costs, and, you know, that would be good for businesses overall. So there is this, kind of a multiplier effect.
But that's if they passed on the savings to you instead of pocketing them as their own profits.
But I think that, you know, you look at competing for business and all that. I think this will, you know, kind of naturally is kind of a trump card. At least you can adjust your pricing, you know, or be flexible in providing, you know, a better price, you know. To your clients.
Henry raised a good point about raising awareness. I think not just for these small business operators, even for, let's say, you and me, like how much more GST credits are you getting? You know it's 50%, but how much exactly? Like a lot of people don't know because can't be helped because there's so many different little components. So do you guys find it like difficult to sort of understand what you can get? Did you have to do a lot of research or like just read up before the show?
No, obviously. But I think
that's one of the complaints that many people have. Like, oh, there's so many things, but 我都不知道我可以拿到什么. You know?
I think if I were to read the newspapers, I mean, there's so many information, right? I think what I found really helpful was the side column where everything was summarized. Yeah, so that to me was good enough. But I'm not sure if it's a mom and pop, the uncle auntie manning the shops, right? I don't know whether they already go and read the details. You know, they are so busy running their shops. Yeah.
Go to your MP.
maybe. Yeah,
but just now, Reene, like you mentioned competition. I mean, in this now the situation perhaps is even tougher with the recession and all. Then how do you fight off the competition and, you know, still stay on top?
I think it's important in times like that you don't you don't focus on an area which has so many competitors. You know, instead you must look at pockets of growth. Yeah. So for us, we are focusing on the Middle Eastern market and China. Yeah. So that will be our growth areas. And it's like forget about, you know, there's certain markets that not worth competing in. Yeah. I mean, you just have to be focused. You know, put your resources at the right place. Yeah.
Be decisive and ruthless. I'm not going to bother with you guys. Okay, with that, we'll go for a breather. Yes. And then join us in a bit.